Headlines again. I say that as if there is ever a time when they're not in the headlines. But this time, they're showing the UK royals how you really support your people. Instead of advertising for staff with small egos, they're actually encouraging their staff to be bigger and better. So a lot of you might have seen this story about the head of communications starting her new business. Well, I decided to do a bit of digging to find out the real story in all of this. And I sat back to really think about what was going on instead of just jumping into the fray as usual. That's not to say that everybody else is not taking their time to think about it, but I think about it more in terms of what is going on with the court case. Anyway, their head of staff, or rather, their head of communications, Ashley Hansen, is branching out and she is starting her own firm. And Harry and Meghan are going to be her first clients. Now, if that is not loyalty, I don't know what is. But before we dive deeper into this conversation, let me give y'all a proper YouTube welcome. This is Isabella Banks' YouTube channel, and I am your girl, Wizzy, bringing you the Sussex news with a side of spice. So grab a drink, get comfortable, because we're about to unpack this story in true Wizzy fashion. Okay, let's carry on. So, the lady of the hour is Ashley Hansen, aka Harry and Meghan's right hand woman in comms. She has been with them for 2 years, steering them through the wilderness. When I say she's been steering them through the wilderness, I mean the wilderness. She's been through the Netflix series, the media madness around Spare, and all the royal drama. Now she's stepping out and starting her own firm, Three Gate Strategies. And get this, as I said, Harry and Meghan are going to be her first clients. Talk about friends with benefits. Am I right or am I right? Oh dear. Now, as I said, I had some thoughts on this matter about why this was, because it's so easy to jump to the conclusion that people are ditching the Sussex camp left and right, and maybe these allegations of bullying are correct, or there's something untoward happening. But actually, when you stop to think about it against what is actually happening with the Sussexes, you will find that this is the next logical step of what would be happening. Okay, so what are the things that you would take into consideration, right? So one of the things I took into consideration was the fact that they didn't drop this news until Harry was done with his latest tour of Lesotho and South Africa. That is a team that is working in tandem and strategic as always. I mean, why would they let this business announcement overshadow Prince Harry's work? He's out there making real change. And the last thing he needs to worry about is unauthorized leaks coming from his own camp overshadowing the work that he's doing, which tells you that even if there seems like there is a separation, they're still working in unity, they're working in tandem. Okay, so that got my first check mark, and I was like, okay, that's good. That passes the first test. Before we continue, if this is your first time on this channel, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, leave a comment or two in the comment section. If you have visited before and you have not yet subscribed, let today be the day you decide to subscribe. For all those who have been rocking with me from the beginning, thank you. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section. Also, hit the like button. Hit that like button. It helps me get seen on YouTube. It helps me also build my subscriber count. As you know, my target is 10,000 subscribers. I stopped talking about that bit and my subscriber target for the moment, because I am currently working on the steps that I need to take to file the petition at the UN behind the scenes, and I will have an update for the channel members very soon. I know it seems like I keep saying that, but honestly, there is a lot of work going on behind the scenes, and I have a lot to share with you guys. All right, so let's continue. Let us continue, okay? So, if you are looking at the British headlines, let me share this with you. You would be forgiven for thinking, why is Ashley leaving? I mean, look at this headline: Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's global press secretary, who defended her boss against Duchess' difficult accusations, moves on from her role to launch her own firm. Even that title, it's so grammatically incorrect, and they try to pack as much information into one line as possible, but it gives the impression that Ashley was dumping the Sussexes, whereas it's absolutely not true. Ashley is not leaving them at all. She's own. This is basically a next level career growth. Ashley's done the work. She's set up their comms team to perfection, and this move just screams freedom for her and the Sussexes. They have now mastered their own comms team style, and they don't need her to run their day to day management going forward. They've set up their team, they have people in place to do everything and the processes with which everything needs to be done. This is what someone at her level does. She comes in, she sets things up, and then she makes the next move depending on the level of the organization that she is with. And for those who don't know, Ashley's pedigree is amazing. To leave her in that position would have been to stifle her without space to grow. This is like sending someone who is a Lamborghini to the market to buy you pepper. Okay, so her just a summary of her background. Hansen started. Hansen began work with Harry and Meghan following a career in communications that included roles at UTA, Annapurna Pictures, and Universal Filmed Entertainment Group. That's the level Ashley was on. And we all know that Archewell is a relatively smaller organization. It's a startup, basically, which means that Ashley would be like a big fish in a very small pond. And it would take Archewell some time to catch up to where they would need to be to retain someone like Ashley for a longer period of time or for life, basically. And I'm willing to bet that she has bigger plans for herself than that, which is okay, which is fine. So this is why this move that has happened between Archewell, Harry and Meghan and Ashley is a win-win for both of them. She gets to grow and they get to keep that loyalty intact. Besides, I won't be surprised to hear that Meghan is an investor in her company. Yes, you guys know that Meghan is out here doing her female entrepreneur thing. Remember, she invested in businesses like Clever, Sester Collective, and now it seems like she's putting her girl Ashley on that same path. I think that's just smart moves all around. And this is what I thought would have need to happen for Meghan, because as much as we don't like to admit it in the squad, the reality of the situation is that this negative barrage that is coming from the UK is affecting Meghan's work. She is getting sabotaged left and right. And the most sensible thing for her to do is to quietly, slowly begin to try to set up her own thing. But while she's trying to do that, invest in other people's companies because her name does not immediately show. She's not the face of the company. And so people don't even know that she's involved with the company if she doesn't tell them. That helps her to continue to generate some kind of income or at least begin the wealth generation process through those companies in form of shares, dividends, and so on, while she works on her own company in the midst of this toxic campaign that is being waged against her by the toxic British media. And the thing is, you got to ask yourself, really, the British media have been going for how many years now? Are they not tired? Are they not tired? So you would wonder then why this bit of news, especially considering the why did they decide to release this bit of news now, especially when you consider the previous battle that they just finished fighting with the Meghan bullying allegations. I don't even think that battle is done yet. They're still going back and forward. And the disadvantage that Meghan has is that Buckingham Palace has refused to release the bullying report. They refuse to release it. And so that gives room for speculation as to whether Meghan is actually a difficult boss to work with because the initial allegations arose from the UK. But that said, at least the American side have confirmed that that's a toxic work relationship does not exist. So then, why do the allegations persist? And why did Ashley decide at this time that she would be moving on? The truth of the matter, then, if you think about it, is that there's never those supporting Harry and Meghan would really, and it did cross my mind. I was a bit bitter at the moment when I heard the news. I was like, oh, but why now? Why now? Why didn't she wait until a little bit later? Because the allegations have just come up, and even though it's innocent, it will still be twisted into something that is negative. Until I realized that, you know what? Harry and Meghan are on a schedule. They're not on the UK media schedule. They're on their own schedule and they need to do things as and when it suits them to do it. They're not going to be waiting until the British media say, oh, actually, we were wrong about Harry and Meghan. No, they're just going to keep moving and living their lives as they need to live their lives, which I think is great. This is the very definition of what it means to dance in the rain, because if you and life life is kind of like that. If you keep waiting until things are perfect, then you will never do anything. Life is never perfect, and that's what this attitude of Harry and Meghan right now exemplifies. Them just carrying on and living their life regardless of what the British media would interpret it as being, knowing that those who it's important to let know the reality of the situation, knowing that when they explain the situation to them, they would know the truth regardless of the headlines. Okay. But and then there was another part, there was another aspect which I looked at when I was thinking about the situation. I was just like, by announcing the change in the position, Harry and Meghan are backing Ashley's new venture. They know the power of their influence. Okay. So right now they are promoting Ashley's new venture. Otherwise, there was no real reason for them to announce if they are still working together, albeit in a different capacity. There's no reason for them to announce, okay, Ashley is no longer working with us as permanent staff. She's going to be running her own business. Think about it. There was no real reason for them to announce it. They only announced it because they wanted to promote Ashley's business. They know that once they let people know that Ashley is open for business, even if it was just for big people who are being curious about them, wanting to try and see if they can get information about them from Ashley, that would draw people to Ashley. So they announced it. They know that anyone who so much as whispers Megan's name these days gets all the attention. So great marketing strategy for Ashley. And the British media, they fall for it time and time again. They don't think. They're so dumb. They don't think. They don't think. But what's the media goal in all of this? In all of this attack against Meghan, what is their goal? I would say that they are trying their best to cancel Meghan the way that Lizzo and Ellen were cancelled. Do you guys remember when Ellen's staff said that her show was a toxic working environment, and the same thing for Lizzo. And then both of them are literally not able to do anything professionally, to the point that Lizzo now has taken it upon herself to take the time out of work to lose weight. But why though? Why are they trying to cancel Meghan? I think there are a lot of reasons, but the two that come foremost in my mind are number one, her book. They're anticipating that she would write a book and it would discredit the media and discredit the royal family. So, to that end, I think that part of the reason why Meghan gets so much attack in the media is that the royal family have unleashed the media on Meghan because they are fearful that she might write a book and reveal all that she knows about them, what happened to her. That means that there's a lot that Meghan has not discussed. And then the other reason I think is to hurt Prince Harry, to discourage him from continuing with his cases against the media. The current case, which is in discussion at the moment, is his case against NGN, which is the publisher of the Sun newspaper, which is coming up in January. So, guys, this is my public service announcement to all those who are tender hearted. If you need to take a break because it's about to get vicious. It's about to get very vicious, but I think in anticipation of what is coming, Harry has also done some work, and this is why we're expecting to see the paperback release of The Spare to remind everybody of, especially people in the public, of what the issues are, and we will be doing a sectional review of The Spare when the book is released. Who is looking forward to that? I know I am. I think also look at these headlines to show you what I'm talking about. Look at these headlines. Okay, look at these headlines. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's global press secretary, who defended her boss against Duchess' difficult accusations, moves on from her role to launch her own firm. They know the truth and they deliberately slant the information negative, corrupting the information that was supposed to be released to the public. Look at this one. This is from the Daily Express. Blow for Prince Harry and Meghan as staff member announces major change. And what about this one? The Mirror. Prince Harry and Meghan make major team announcement as staff row deepens. With who? Who are they rowing? Who are they rowing with? But what's new? These are the same folks that Harry is suing and has been suing for years. Speaking of, as I said, we are going to be covering. We are going to be my next video. In my next video, I'm going to be covering the latest update in Prince Harry's case against the Sun. It's actually quite interesting because when you read the article when you read the newspaper article, you have a sense that the judge is not happy with both parties, but the judge is really unhappy with NGN because they are doing their best to drag out the case for mileage in the reporting benefits and also to make Harry as uncomfortable as possible. Possibly, I'm sure that there are some negotiations. There are some settlement negotiations going on behind the scenes, but at the end of the day, the reality is that both parties are stuck in an epic battle. They are not finding it easy with Harry, and Harry is not finding it easy with them, but they're going blow for blow in the battle. It's epic. I went through the actual judgment, and I'll be discussing that in my next video. Let's carry on because I don't intend to keep you long in this video today. But the thing is, going back to what we are discussing, The thing is that Harry and Meghan's light is undeniable to the point that when people like Boris Johnson, who was out here promoting his book, he had to throw compliments at Harry and Meghan. Did I hear you say what? Yes. He complimented Harry and Meghan. He went on to GB News to promote his book. But interestingly, should I say, interestingly, instead of piling on the hate like the rest of the British media, he was like, no, Harry and Meghan are doing their thing. They're quite good, quite articulate, quite, they are national assets. Listen to this.
Well, with both of them. And I also worked with Harry when he did his Invictus Games, yes, for disabled veterans in the Olympic Park. And so in a sort of, pit of pomposity, I thought, this national asset is leaving our country. I think he's a force on the whole, could be on the whole a force for good. I'm going to try and discourage him. And that's why I had a pathetic attempt at that. It didn't work. Prince Harry.
Let me play that for you again.
Prince Harry and Meghan, in my view, they came to an event we did for female education. They were brilliant. And she was particularly good and articulate and on it and on the detail.
So you got on quite well.
And yeah. I got on well with both of them. And I also worked with Harry when he did his Invictus Games, yes, for disabled veterans in the Olympic Park. And so in a sort of, pit of pomposity, I thought, this national asset is leaving our country. I think he's a force on the whole, could be on the whole a force for good. I'm going to try and discourage him. And that's why I had a pathetic attempt at that. It didn't
work. You need to have seen Camilla Tominey's face when he was praising Harry and calling him a national asset. Her face looked like soured milk. Look at this. Her face looked like sour milk. Like, oh my God. Are you trying to say something positive about Harry? Meghan's skills are so solid that even Boris couldn't badmouth them. And I thought, I am training myself not to take anything at face value any longer. And so I had to think about, he could have easily have gone with the party line. Oh, Harry is rubbish and Meghan is rubbish. But he didn't. And I thought about the reason why he didn't do that. Even though when Camilla Tominey looked at him like, how can you be saying something positive about Harry? He stammered, kind of getting his words out, because he knew he was talking outside of the general talking points that they've been given. But the thing is that Boris is not just someone who operates in the media space. I knew he's a presenter with GB News, is it? And he's also got a column with one of the tabloids. The problem is that he is also a former prime minister of a country. So he can't be seen descending to the same level as the toxic British media, much to the disappointment of Camilla Tominey. Can you guys see her face? She looks like Rumpelstiltskin. Anyway, so all in all, I think that you see, when you think about it from the perspective that I've come at it, you would see that the move for Ashley Hansen is actually a strategic next level move for someone in her career. She's not leaving Harry and Meghan, and the option they have chosen of getting her to start a business and becoming her first client is the best option possible. I think that Kensington Palace could take a leaf out of what Harry and Meghan have just done. In that way, they will stop losing their staff, because the reality of the situation is that Kensington Palace, the royal family, and even Harry and Meghan's offices are small offices when it comes, when you think about it career wise. What's the room for growth? When you enter at a level, there's really no other step you can move up to within the organization, which is different from if you were working with a bigger organization. If you start off as junior level, then you go to medium, and then you go to managerial level. But there's no such room for growth in these kind of places. Neither Kensington Palace nor Harry's offices at the moment can provide such. So the next best thing was for them to give her the opportunity to start her own business and self actualize, with them supporting her. And people who have seen how Harry, especially, has moved brilliantly, and Meghan has moved brilliantly, I'm sure she will be turning clients away at this point, because she has done an excellent job at helping them navigate very, very choppy waters. Okay, so let me look at your comments. Hi, Rosa Roberts. Hi, Lorna. Hi, Lydia. How you doing? And And hi, Oral. How are you? Hi, guys. If you haven't already done so, please hit the like button. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. Lorna says someone in Buckingham Palace may get fed up with this nonsense and release a copy of that book. I cannot wait until that is done. It would be, it would be the best thing ever. I would love it, because it would bring an end to this did she, didn't she? And it's so unfair that Harry and Meghan are not able to demand these bullying reports to be released. I think their refusal shows lack of evidence. I don't see it as a disadvantage. As vicious as the royal family has been, if they had something, it would be out. Yeah, that is true as well. Joan says so many more people might read Boris's book at the mention of Harry and Meghan. That's the point. Everybody who wants to market themselves now, all they have to do is to mention Harry and Meghan's name, and then suddenly hundreds of millions of eyes are on whatever it is the person is marketing. So Bojo the adulterer tried to persuade Harry to stay and leave Meghan and Archie in Canada. I don't know whether he actually did try to stop Harry from leaving. I think he was trying to prevent both of them from leaving. It wasn't just Harry. I don't know. I don't know. But if that is what he did, I didn't hear it as that. I heard it as him trying to prevent Harry and Meghan from leaving, because he heaped praise on both of them and not just Harry. I might be wrong though, and you might be right, but that's what I read it as being. But for once, someone in their circle didn't join the pylon. So in these kind of situations, I tend to look for the positive, and that's what I took out of it. Look at her face. She looks like she is about to weep. Has Head Island Jackie Williams. Each time Harry comes out to the world stage, a negative story comes out about Meghan. The royal family just want Harry to stay home because of jealousy. Yep. Yep. I think this the thing that comes from not knowing what happens outside of your circle, and them having the mistaken belief that the British Empire was still as powerful as it used to be in the 1800s. I think they're learning a lot more as time goes by, that even their influence is limited. Um, what's the city is part of that? I don't know. Oh, yes, City is member of the Heritage Foundation with it under scrutiny for Project 2025. She is coming back to her UK roots. No wonder she is willing to be, because I was wondering how a woman relatively young can back this kind of ridiculous uh, smear campaign that is being waged against Harry and Meghan. Bojo says it was the royal family that asked him to speak to Harry. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I just said what I said because, if I listen to let's play it again, just a second. It's he doesn't separate them from each other. Let's listen to
And
it again.
Meghan. Prince Harry and Meghan, in my view, they came to an event we did for female education. They were brilliant. And she was particularly good and articulate and on the detail.
So you got on quite well
And
with Meghan?
yeah. I got on well with both of them. And I also worked with Harry when he did his Invictus Games for disabled veterans in the Olympic Park. And so in a sort of, fit of pomposity, I thought, this national asset is leaving our country. I think he's a force on the whole, could be on the whole a force for good. I'm going to try and discourage him. And that's why I had a pathetic attempt at that. It didn't work. Prince Harry.
Yeah. So you might be right anyway, but yeah, the way I read it, it's just like he was trying to prevent both of them from leaving. He may have been aware, of course, he would have been aware of the agenda of the royal family, but I don't think he would have had much hope of dissuading Harry from leaving Meghan. So I don't think he would have bothered with that. But I might be giving him too much credit. Maybe I'm just being naive and I'm giving him too much credit. Anyway, so let's look at this. Okay, so the discussion is about Camilla Tominey being in the Heritage Foundation. She is waist deep in the toxic, racist organizations. No wonder she fights so hard and confidently against Harry and Meghan. She definitely has the backing of the royal family to be doing what she's doing. Anyway, so as far as this story is concerned, this is all that I have. What do you guys think? What do you think of my assessment of the situation? Do you think it's the power move that I think it is? Drop your comments and your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe if you haven't already done so. This is Wheezy signing out. Peace. Yalibi, let me just look at this comment from Yalibi. I think when I think of racism, I often wonder if the women wickedness was not worse than men's, because even with MAGA, the women seem acutely nasty, don't they? They do. Even the men seem to be a bit more tolerant than the women. Anyway, guys, let me leave you with that one. I will see you in my next video, which will probably be coming up tomorrow, and it is on the update of Prince Harry's case. I have read through the judgment and I will be breaking it down for you guys. It is not at all the way it's being reported in the media as usual. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.